Hello, everyone. Today, I am going to be talking about the recession. Everybody is going through a lot. There's a lot of layoffs going on, and a lot of folks are getting in panic mode, which I understand. A lot of people just don't know what to do. And when you're going through layoffs, you got to learn, you got to be on a budget. A lot of people like to spend and buy things and that they don't need, whether it's clothes or whatever the case may be. So we need to know how to budget. We need to know what food that we need to eat. We need to go back like back in the day when our grandmothers and great grandmothers, where they were on a budget and they were eating certain foods like potatoes and turn it into like a meal. And you can Google on different chat GPT and they could tell you, you could just type in, give me a recipe just only with potatoes to feed 5 people. And it comes up with like maybe 20 different recipes that you can make where you won't be starving or lacking anything. So today I'm so excited. These people here is going to tell you how to make it through this recession, how to make it through layoffs. So let's go ahead and dive right into the first video here.
People in this generation don't know how to make something stretch. They like, oh, I'm living my best life. Oh, I'm gonna go out to eat. Oh, I'm gonna get a combo. But during the summer times, my parents would send us to Alabama, and my grandmother used to run a restaurant, but she also just used to teach us how to cook. So if we hit a recession, as long as I got a bag of rice, I got some beans.
He's not lying about that. I'm from the country, sound like he's from the country where your great grandmothers, your mother, they teach you how to cook, get some rice and get some beans. We didn't go out to eat like McDonald's. I don't remember going out to eat, at a restaurant. It was just only as they needed. My mom cooked at home. She taught me how to cook, how to make things. I don't know if y'all know about those fried bolognas where you fry the bologna on top of the skillet, put you some oil, and you had a bologna sandwich and you were full. Nobody knew what was in your stomach. You never did go lacking anything. I guess back in the day I'm used to it because it was a recession then, because we didn't have privilege like a lot of people have this filet mignon. We ate what we had, like tuna fish sandwich. And I can relate to this guy. You got to make it happen. You got to do what it takes in order to eat.
Any cheap cut of meat, whatever's on sale, whatever I could get, whether it's a chicken drum, a chicken thigh, a chicken quarter, you know, I could get me some onions, some bell peppers. I'm gonna be alright. You know what I'm saying? You give me some noodles, some ground beef, some tomato sauce. I know how to whip up some quick meals. Even now, people be like, eggs are expensive. You know who hasn't been eating eggs? Me. You gotta find something else. But y'all be like, y'all, the eggs are expensive because y'all still buying them.
He is right about that, y'all. Eggs are very expensive, so you can't go in there and buy. You got to learn how to pivot. You got to know how to make something else. Maybe make some rice or have some hash browns. Do what it takes in order to make it happen, y'all, because this is a recession. People getting laid off every single day. I've been laid off before. It's tough when it's just only you. I remember eating ketchup and bread, and I know that sounds, disgusting to a lot of people, but I had to do what I had to do because I didn't have a lot of income coming in. So here is another lady that is trying to tell you how to make it through this recession. I'm here to help you because I know a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck. They go into the stores, it's very expensive. You get 4 bags and it's like $100 versus back in the day, you get 4 bags, you're out of maybe $25. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to share this one here with you here.
Recession, whether we're going to go into one, whether we're in one, whether we're not in one, it doesn't matter. Always prepare for a recession. Okay? All right? So in order to prepare, you have to have a plan. In order to have a plan, you got to have that budget. Okay? Because I want you to make sure that every single dollar that you're working your butt off for, because Gen Z, y'all are incredibly hardworking. Y'all want to do better than your parents. I know. I see you. Incredibly impressed by y'all. All right? But we got to prioritize your money. Okay? We got to make sure you're spending it wisely. Okay? So
And she's right about that. You have to make sure that you're spending your money wisely. A lot of times we want to get our hair fixed. We want to go out and buy these Gucci purse. What's important? You know, a Gucci purse or a roof over your head. You got to make a decision what is very important, getting your hair fixed or having a place to stay. This is real, y'all. This is real.
Let's prioritize. The first one's housing. Okay, you got to have a roof over your head, a place to sleep, a place to rest, so you can go to work. Right? Okay, first thing, and it's okay to have roommates in your 20s. You can't do this by yourself.
Now, on the roommates, I have to say this here. Y'all have to make sure that y'all pray and get the right roommates, because you got to be very careful. You don't know these people. You got to have a background check when you have a roommate. Even if you move family, you got to be very careful, because what happened is when you go into, if you have a roommate, they may not pay their part of it and you stuck with the rest of the bill, and then you get evicted from your apartment or the house. So make sure you be very careful, do a background check, and make sure that you know these people really well, because you can't trust everybody coming up in your space. You don't know these people. They seem nice, and when you move in, they're a different person. So be very careful and mindful when you decide to have a roommate.
You cannot do this by yourself. You need your community. So housing with roommates. Okay, first thing. Second thing, utilities. You got to have your water, your electricity. You got to keep that fridge going, your body clean, so you can go to work smelling fresh, right? That's important. That helps with your confidence. You got to have your utilities. And the next thing is food. Okay, food is the third priority. All right, you got to keep going. You got to keep having those bellies filled. Okay, very important. It's more important than the next priority, which is your car. Okay, because if you don't have the money for a car, you can always Uber to work, right? Or maybe you live with your people that you work with. You can carpool to work. Okay. But that next priority is your car for that gas and the insurance. Now with insurance, what you can do is get a group policy with your roommates. Okay. And save that money on that multi-car discount, maybe splitting that bill up. Okay. So it's not so heavy on you, because insurance in your 20s is really expensive. Let's get real. Yeah. Even for the ladies. Okay. So you have your budget, your utilities, food, your car, and the next thing, and this should be the number one, but let's get real, is you. You need to budget at least once or twice a month to do something that fills your happy tank. Mm-hmm. Okay? I'm being for real. That means you need to prioritize you. Stop.
Exactly. We have to learn to take care of ourselves, even though we're going through the recession. You got to live. You cannot stress yourself out, because when you stress yourself out, it starts affecting your health. So you got to do self-care. Okay, maybe get up and walk. Do something, y'all, because we're all going through the storms of life. And she's dropping some gems. She's telling you that, hey, you can do an Uber. There's different ways to get to work to save money. You know, you can carpool. She's talking about carpool, where y'all take turns, where maybe you ride in your car one time and then the next time you ride in another car in order to save money. You just got to think outside of the box in order to make it happen. I mean, we have to go back and watch these movies back in the day, how the older generation made it way back in the day. And that's why I say to myself, I have to go back and find these movies. There's movies out there that you can watch that can teach you how to budget, how to make it, how to cook, how to survive. We have to get into survival mode. And I'm taking notes here on how to, survive this recession. So I grew up, and I guess you could say back in the day, it was recession because we were on a budget, but we still made it here. But this is great information that this lady is giving you.
Spending that money on those TikTok live gifts. I was not going to hold your hand for that. No, I'm going to put that right out there. Stop it. Okay, stop spending money on that Starbucks. Mm-hmm. You can make that stuff at home.
That's right. Starbucks is very expensive. You can make all of this at home. If you Google it, there is recipes that will show you. It may not taste the same as Starbucks, but it is the same, y'all. You got to get out here and get away from Starbucks. Starbucks is very expensive. When you're going through hard times, you don't have a job at this particular time, you have to know how to budget. You got to do without stuff. You got to sit down and decide what you're going to get rid of and what are you going to keep.
Okay, what's significantly cheaper. Okay, all that money after you, which is the most important thing, because all those things can't happen without you, right? You got to keep you happy. The rest of that money, I want you to put it to the side. Put it underneath your mattress. Your great grandparents did.
Yes, they did.
They saved that money. Okay, they put that money. They hid it somewhere. Hide it. Put it. Don't. And I wouldn't even put it in your bank. I would just keep that cash and put it somewhere safe. Okay, because if it's a bank account, you can use your debit card. Stop that. Okay, if you have your cash, you can see it. You can physically see it. Okay, you're less likely to spend it if you can see that it's dwindling away, right? Stop using your debit.
She is right. I used to do that. Is I used to just have direct deposit when I was freshly started working. I had direct deposit. Well, I had it mailed. I'm sorry about that. I had the check mailed to me, and all I did was cash it. When I cashed it, I had it at home. I never did put it in the bank. A lot of people thought I was crazy because I didn't want to have a bank. You know, they's like, well, one case of somebody break into your home and then they take all of your money. And that's the only reason why I started putting the money into the bank. But she's right. My grandmother, I remember staying with her in the summertime. She's always told me at a young age, I was probably about 8 or 9 years old. She'd say, baby, you need to always save. You know, they back then they kept it in a can, like a old coffee can. And then she said you need to put back $5 or whatever the case may be, because you never know when you're going to have to go back and use it. Even coins like quarters and dimes, that can add up. You know, I cannot, like when I go to town and I purchase something and I pay cash, I have a whole bunch of, at the time, had a whole bunch of coins in there with 25 cents where it adds up. So you got to learn how to make it happen, y'all. A lot of people are like, I don't know how you make it. You got to do without a lot of stuff. A lot of people want to go in and buy expensive stuff. You can't do that. You know, if you're on a budget and in this recession, you got to go back like in the old days, like I always say, and do your research to find out how they made it. I mean, back in the day, they made it. They ate pancakes. You can go to the Dollar General store and get some pancakes to feed your family. All you're adding is water and you're saving money. So you can have pancakes like for breakfast and you can have lunch. And like the guy was saying, you can have rice and beans. You can make it. If eggs are very expensive, then don't buy eggs. Substitute, pivot. You got to learn how to pivot in order to make it in this recession. I've learned so much watching these people here and watching other things because I'm trying to make it. We're all going through the storms of life and we're going to make it through.
Cards, okay? Use cash for everything if you can, all right? Now, I said I can teach y'all on how to save money on food because y'all need to stop buying the ramen noodles. I know. And go follow Chef Anna. She does a really good job on teaching y'all how to make food from scratch. Healthy food from scratch that tastes good and fills your bellies up for long periods of time. Because if you have better nutrients, your body is not as hungry as often. Do y'all know that? If you have the right nutrients, spend your money in the right way on food. So, and that's my approach to the recession. Always prepare. And if you live like this, like I was saying, be very mindful about where you spend your money. Okay? Maybe share with your roommates.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's how you can prepare for it. Budget your money. Your money is very important. You work really hard for it. Respect that money. And take care of yourself. Let me all know if you all want some more stuff. Love you guys. Gen Z.
She is telling the truth, y'all. We have to prepare and plan. I grew up, like I said, from the country, and there was things that I wanted we didn't get. It was because my parents were trying to save money. I never forget when the ice cream truck came, and I was like, Mom, Dad, I want an ice cream truck. Get in there, make you some Kool-Aid, get you some Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid back then was like 10 cents, 25 cents, add some sugar. And then you put in them little white cups and make a little snow cones. And it was the best thing, y'all. We got to go back and do that. I still do that today, is get some Kool-Aid and make some snow cones in order to save money here, because we're all in the budget. The great thing about back in the day, people shared. I mean, your next door neighbor, if you needed some eggs, they would give you eggs. If you needed sugar, they give you sugar. And there was no gossiping and going on and saying, hey, she borrowed 4 eggs or she borrowed sugar. Everybody is about to help each other. These days now, everybody is for themselves. Everybody wanna, worry about themselves. They don't want to worry about helping you. So yeah, we're in a recession. People are still getting laid off. But again, you got to be on a budget, and it starts with the food. I mean, nobody knows what in your stomach, like the guy was saying, you can have rice and beans, and you can get you some chicken. You can go to the store and buy all this stuff less than $12, and you can make it and you can feed a family of 5 or more. Y'all get out here, watch these videos. They're telling you how to make it through this recession and lay off, because let me tell you, we're all going through storms of life. Every single day people have issues and problems, and we're going to make it. You just got to believe we're going to make it through this layoff. There's a reason behind everything. We go through the storms, but hang on. You know, everything is going to be okay. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.